You finally decided, after thinking about it a long time, to join the tabletop RPG hobby. You're thinking, I don't want to play D&D, I don't want to play Genesis, I don't want to play any of the mainstream games. You want to do something a little bit different. So you keep looking and you keep finding these things called Powered by the Apocalypse, PBTA. What does any of that mean? So today, we're going to be talking about what is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. Powered by the Apocalypse, or PBTA then, is a term that originates from the game Apocalypse World by Vincent Baker and Magoo Baker around 2006 when it was first created. The premise of powered games is to be simple in characterization and simple in mechanics, while emphasizing conversation and a shared storytelling. So, PBTA, or Powered by the Apocalypse, isn't a system, rather a design philosophy for how game creators create their games. So what does that look like in play? So, when you're playing any Powered by the Apocalypse game, usually the main dice you'll be using are 2d6. 10 plus is a complete success, 7 through 9 is a partial success / mixed success, and 1 through 6 is an entirely a miss. Here's a scenario that I think might help any new player who wants to get into a Powered by the Apocalypse game. Jasmine is a veteran thief across the lands of the Sahara. She's trying to track down a particular kind of piece of treasure in a nearby cave. So, she wants to find it, but she doesn't really quite know where it is. She's going to need to use her investigation skills in order to get it, or the player rolls for that matter, and unfortunately she gets a 2. She's unable to find any location or any idea of where the treasure might be. So instead, she's going to ask someone else to do it for her and try to convince or charm them to help you out. She rolls a 7 through 9. She's able to convince someone, but it's going to be at a steep fare. Alright, that's okay. Now, once you find that cavern, you have to traverse through several traps. All of a sudden, a rock comes falling down, and Jasmine needs to jump out of the way. She rolls an athletic check and gets a 12. That's complete success. She is able to dodge that completely without any harm, whereas her compatriot gets crushed because they rolled a 1. See what I'm trying to do here? This game relies on a 2d6 solution because it doesn't want to bog all the other parts down. And of course, each Powered by the Apocalypse game has its own interpretation and different rules to build its world, but at the core of it, all roles are based on a simple resolution. With this 2d6 solution, it very much is a play now kind of game, where instead of waiting for things to happen, you don't have to worry or get bogged down by the rules, you just do something. You want to push over a tree or attempt to? Go for it. You want to loiter around and see whether or not you can find more information? You can do that. Combat isn't simply you just shoot a spell or you attack. There are so many more options available to you when, honestly, all resolutions are based off whether or not you roll a 1 through 6, 7 through 9, or 10 plus. And the best part, it emulates any kind of genre of fiction, from modern settings to sci-fi to science operas to a modern fantasy. Whatever game you're thinking of, it probably can emulate in some degree. However, the biggest problem I think with PBTA is that if you're looking for a good hack and slash game where you can just number crunch and destroy monsters, enemies, or foes, then this game might not be for you. Also, for a game masters who are interested, it requires a lot of making things up as you go, and for new GMs, that can be a lot for them. So be careful if you're GMing for the first time. Definitely be sure to talk to other GMs in the Powered by the Apocalypse Reddits, or in general RPG Reddit threads. So we know that most PBTA use a 2d6 solution, and while they are simple, they can be complicated as well for GMs. But what are some Powered by the Apocalypse games? Here are some that I think you should definitely check out. Dungeon World. It's a gritty D&D of archetypes such as fighter or cleric. If you like high fantasy settings and you want to ease your way into any kind of PBTA game, then this is your best bet. Monster Heart. It's a supernatural spooky RPG where you take on supernatural creatures such as werewolves or vampires. And if you like awkward teenage angst, then this is the best game for you, especially if you like Breakfast Club. Monster of the Week. Do you like Supernatural or Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Then you play as a ragtag team of monster hunters hunting for, well, monsters. And from psionics to ragtag teams of duel fighting with guns, this is perfect if you like that. Night Witches. It's very much a streamlined PBTA game about women aviators from Soviet Union who run night bombings against Nazis. It's historical fiction, so if that's your kind of game and you want something dreary, then definitely check this one out. Flying Circus. If you want a letter to Howl's Moving Castle and you like flying machines, then look no further than Flying Circus. It's much more lighthearted than the other game I just mentioned, But if you are looking for something happy-go-lucky and you want to fly around and kick some ass, then definitely check this one out. Do you want to play superhero? Then think about playing Masks: A New Generation. Want to play angsty, anxiety-ridden teenagers balancing superheroing with kicking a villain butt? Then Masks is for you. Armor Aster Advent is a mecha / Gundam / Titanfall 2 inspired PBTA game. If you like science fantasy and if you like magical robots and you like hyper over the scale, pretty much anime-esque gaming, then this tabletop RPG is absolutely one you should check out. And finally, Root. You might have seen this as a board game, but Root is now a PBTA game as well. You want to fight for money, justice, and freedom, but be a badger or a fox or an owl? Well then, my friends, this PBTA game is perfect for you. And that's only scratching the surface of all of the Powered by Apocalypse games that are out there. There's even games that are inspired by PBTA. For example, Queers or City of the Mist is inspired by PBTA and that roguelike system. So for you all, are you thinking of playing a PBTA game? And if so, why do you want to play one? Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, everyone, I'm your fellow host, Bloody Disposition, and I hope you all have an awesome day. Ciao!